Generating alternate forms of energy has had a significant economic impact on farms and ranches all across the country. One place it's been especially significant is on the windswept plains of south central Texas.
We have to have special shingles on our ranch house over here to keep them from being blown off. And you just
the wind's that constant?
Oh yes, yes, definitely.
Ray McDaniel knows a good deal about the wind in south central Texas. His family has owned this land since the 1920s. The wind used to be just a fact of life. Today, it's a source of income. Look anywhere in Nolan or Taylor counties south of Sweetwater, and this is what you'll see. Hundreds of giant wind turbines generating electricity over thousands of acres. This is cotton, corn, cattle, and oil country. When the electric companies came calling to build on ranch and farmland, the choice for many was obvious.
You don't have to be an expert in agriculture to understand it's an up and down world. And a lot of years, a good year is breaking even.
So Ray, like many landowners here, signed a lease allowing the power companies to put up 50 wind turbines on his 9,000 acres.
We went through severe droughts in the 90s. We normally run 100+ mother cows on this ranch. We got down to the point where February of '98, we were down to 0 cattle. The economics is hard to put together when you have no source of income.
John Ussery, his wife, mother, and sister decided to say yes to wind turbines on their land as well. It was a dramatic change from their farming past.
Things were going to change, and change for the country folks is not always a nice word. You know, but we all knew we had to the economics had to change. We could hang on to the land, but the land was not pulling its weight.
Texas has become one of the world's major players in wind generation. Nolan County alone has more than 1,500 turbines dotting the landscape as far as the eye can see.
From a distance, it's hard to get an idea of just how big these wind turbines are, so let me show you. You have a giant steel cylinder anchored in concrete that rises more than 250 feet into the air. At the top, you have a turbine. Attached to that turbine, you have giant propeller blades, each one of them about 130 feet long. So at the very tip of the blades, you have a structure that's taller than a 30-story building.
The growth of the wind turbine industry has made a dramatic difference to life in this region. The electric companies bear the cost of construction, and each turbine can return on average some $500 a month to the farmer or rancher. Many have 50 turbines or more, earning well over $250,000 a year.
Some people might say this is kind of like winning the lottery.
It is like winning the lottery in a way, but I think it's something we work very hard to get to.
Did you think there would be this many wind turbines?
Did I envision this many? No, sir, I didn't. But I'm proud to say they are here, and I think they've done a lot of good. You know, not everybody agrees with that.
Of course, we don't like how they look, but even when you're not looking at them, you hear this constant roar, and it sounds a whole lot like traffic on a busy freeway.
Dale Rankin is one of those who doesn't agree that wind turbines have been good for the region. He and his family raise horses on a ranch not far from John and Ray.
When you came out here, you didn't have the noise.
Right. It was quiet, peaceful. We didn't have, our view was unobstructed of our neighbors, the landscape.
How would you describe it today?
Well, cluttered. It's like we live in the middle of an industrial freak show.
Dale and several others went to court to stop construction of more turbines in their area.
We believe that our property values are being damaged, our lifestyle is being harmed, and we think that we should have a say in that.
Now, some would say, well, you got lots of land, why don't you put some up yourself and get in on the action?
Well, I don't want my land destroyed in that way. Some people don't mind it, but I love this land, and I want to be a good steward of it.
Their complaints to the court about the visual impact, personal well-being, and property values were disallowed, and the court ruled against them on the noise issue. They've appealed.
They don't work. They're extremely expensive. They leave an enormous footprint on our land, and they're just not worth what they cost.
Good morning.
Mike Reeser is not a rancher. He's the president of the Texas State Technical College in Sweetwater, where a large number of students are taking courses to become wind energy technicians.
They know that wind energy is here to stay and that these power generators have a long life and will need work for that lifetime. So they see long-term career opportunities.
There continues to be disagreement on just how effective wind generation can be in providing continual, uninterrupted power to a nationwide grid. But here in South Central Texas, there's no disagreement that lives have changed forever.
My mother hated the wind to blow. She didn't like it to blow her hair. And then you hung out clothes and it would wrap them around the line. And she said, "Oh, I just hate this wind." Said if we could just sail this wind, we could be millionaires. So little did she know this wind was going to be very important someday.